having a throwback today for you OGs. We are about to be visited by my friend Sam from SeenThroughGlass, who has bought his dream Ferrari 360 Challenge Stradale. At long last, his dream car became reality, and he's going to come and join us here at the Shmuseum. He has been to visit before, in fact, the first visitor, along with Paul from Supercars of London, when I had just got the keys to this place. But safe to say, it's looking a little bit different today, and it's about to be graced by a pretty spectacular car from Maranello. We're very familiar with all sorts of random cars just turning up here at the Shmuseum, but Sam's 360 CS is a special car. If you've been watching the supercar YouTube world for many years, you'll probably remember almost a decade ago now the trips when, for example, I collected my original Porsche 981 GT4 and joined Paul and Sam for a drive all the way down to Monaco, the challenges that we had when we were down there, all of the things with Sam's F-Type when he eventually got that. We did a video when he picked up his new McLaren 540C. I remember that well also. In fact, when my Ford GT was in the US back in 2019, Sam was on Drive the World with his Porsche Carrera T, and we actually met up in California with our British cars. There have been so many different things over the years, but he's finally gone and done it. He's finally gone and bought the car that he'd been dreaming of for such a long time. Given the topic today is cars from Maranello, the Pura Sangue is one of those that people either love or they hate. It's a very different thing to what Sam's about to bring here. I'm enjoying it a lot. I've done about 4,000 miles. Another very different car is the 296 GTS. It's moved up towards this end for the moment, the V6 of course, and Ferrari have had quite a few six-cylinder engines in the past, but the Challenge Stradale was really the first of these track-focused V8 mid-engine supercars. Technically there was a 355 special edition before, but the CS, then the Scuderia, then the Speciale, then the Pista. The XX, in a way, on the SF90, which will be joining the Shmuseum in future, is kind of a follow-up to those, but the CS was really the first, I think, that made them infinitely cool. Now, there is one other Ferrari in my collection that's not here at the moment, but we're going to ignore that for the time being. Hi guys, I'm Shmee, hello, and welcome back to the channel. Today, Sam is coming by with the 360 Challenge Stradale. This is cool. It's time. Welcome, sir. That's a cool car, isn't it? 360 CS arrives here. Oh man, let's go say hi. Yo, you're back.
Hi buddy, how you doing?
All good, good to see you.
Great to see you. Every time I come here, there's even more ridiculous cars. Why? Did you buy a 918 Spider?
No, that's Wham Barnes.
That's outrageous.
Every time something's different. Do you know, I was just thinking, do you remember when you and Paul were the first people to come visit here?
Yes, and I had the green F-Type. What was Paul driving?
R35, GTR.
Oh.
Yeah.
And yeah, we were one of the first people to come when it was kind of, I mean, not finished because you're still doing things, but...
Yeah, we didn't have lifts, we didn't have grandstand, we didn't have painted floor. Many of these cars didn't exist yet.
But to upset you, you know that I've been here more recently without you.
I know.
Is that annoying?
I was a bit like, well, this timing doesn't work out very well. You actually came here when the SF90, when our friend's SF90 Assetto Fiorano was here.
Exactly.
Which you and Tony took out for a drive.
We did a sort of podcast review. It was like a new format we were trialing and all worked out, but you'll be glad to hear Brad give me the proper tour. So this is the Tim tour. So this is the spiel that he would give you if he was here, so just pretend like I'm Tim. So yeah, it's very cool to be here. Now, I mean...
So on which topic, I'll point out that we're down an SF90 right now.
Oh.
We'll talk about that later, but we're up another Ferrari, so life's good.
Okay, fine. I come
Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Yes, finally... Twiggy's here.
Twiggy's here. We can let Twiggy out if you don't mind.
I don't mind at all. Twiggy can go for a little run around the garage.
She's very happy. She's strapped in, so I need to release her. But yeah, Twiggy, for those that don't know, is my Jack Russell that comes pretty much everywhere. She'll just ignore you entirely.
She's off.
Twiggy, come and hang out. So yeah, I mean, you know better than really most, this has been a lifelong dream, but definitely a YouTube dream. Since we first met, I've been banging on about these cars for you, and somehow here we are 10 years later, and this is mine. It feels like a loan. It feels like someone from Ferrari's going to call me and say, oh, can you drop the car back now? Yeah. But it's not, it's mine, so.
It's like, you had the 360 Modena for 5 years?
No, for 6.5 years.
6.5?
6.5 years, manual 360 Modena. And I actually didn't think I was ever going to sell it. I genuinely didn't think I was ever going to sell it. My goal plan, if I was to take inspiration from Shmuseum 150 was to add a challenge Stradale, not replace the Modena with a Stradale, but I'm just not as successful as you. So.
Hey, come on, you're driving a 360 challenge Stradale.
Yes, but you are driving 55,000 other cars. But yeah, so, you know, it is what it is, but I'm so happy. I'm so pleased now.
So come on then, talk us through this. Red, painted stripe.
Yeah, so of course, let's start at the beginning. 2004, Ferrari 360 Challenge Stradale. We could probably bore everyone, or I could bore everyone with what this car is, what it's about.
Do it, because I know how special it is to you. You've got to hear it from you.
I would love to claim that this is the origin for things like, of course, yes, 430 Scud, but 458 Italia, 488 Pista, as we're going to see, I'm sure, 296, something special. This was really the first time that they did a sort of mass run of a lightweight, track-focused variant of their mid-engine car. So it's, you know, it's lighter, it's more powerful, and it's theoretically faster on track than the Modena. I always wanted one for two reasons. Firstly, I'm a Schumacher obsessive, that was my whole thing. And this thing came out when he was dominating F1, but also when I was about 13 or 14, Vicky Butler-Henderson reviewed one of these cars on fifth gear. And look, she, you know, a beautiful woman. She was in like a tight-fitting top. She was driving a Ferrari. It was very loud. I was like, well, I think I need one of those.
Sold. 360 CS is the one.
Literally, forget how it performs. I just want one so I can talk to Vicky Butler-Henderson. But yeah, so always dreamed after one. Had the manual Modena for 6 years. It was as close as you could get a Modena to a CS. So it had the factory bucket seats, the factory roll cage, the factory Challenge grille. We found an original Challenge Stradale exhaust. So it was nearly there, but it was a manual. And at their lightest, these cars are 110 kilos lighter than a Modena. So even though my spec was still ticking a lot of options, it would have been at least 30, 40 kilos more than the lightest variant of Stradale. So it never felt as raw as these things do. And yeah, this particular car came about because I was sitting around thinking, okay, maybe I should get another Ferrari. I was messing around on online auctions, and this thing came up for no reserve. It was a no reserve listing, Tim. And I was like, oh. And about a year before, I'd got a quote on a left-hand drive example at around 150 grand. So I thought, you know what? Screw it. I'll just put in a bid. I can just about afford 150 grand. It's never going to sell for that. An hour before the listing ended.
You're like, wait a second.
Winning bidder, and I'm just going, oh my God. And yeah, won the car. So
that's how auctions work.
That's how auctions work. And you said, you know, red car with stripe. The spec was the least important thing about this car. If I was a very rich man, is this the spec thought I was going to buy? Maybe not. But I'm starting to really love this kind of launch spec.
Okay.
And it's a Stradale, so I don't really care. I would have had it in bubblegum pink or
they didn't make one.
Yellow or whatever, you know.
Putrid yellow, is that what you're calling
Well, I don't know what the official colour code for that is, but should I rescue my dog? I feel like she's going to get in the way of all your builders. Oh, there she is, she's now.
No, she's
peeing underneath an XJ20.
Off on a tour, having a look around. We'll see where she gravitates. Because the CS, aside from the kind of obvious weight savings and stuff, there are some differences. The grille's different, right?
Well, yes, but classic Ferrari. They did offer this on the Modena. So you could choose a Challenge grille on the Modena after a certain date. So the things which are different, which you couldn't have, for example, the Lexan glass on the rear engine cover, so lighter, thinner glass, same for the windscreen. These were the Challenge wheels, which again, you could then later get on a 430, but it's got titanium bolts. The ceramics from the Enzo, those were never available on Modena. Different bumpers, which are lightweight, but also different in design. I don't believe you could ever have the stripe on a Modena. I'm sure if you paid enough money.
People have vinyl it and stuff since.
Well, that's the thing. So this is a factory painted stripe, which collectors freak out about.
Yeah, amazingly cool.
Which is theoretically cool, but this car has a very interesting story, this particular car, and it is going to need some paint at some point. And we were discussing this with someone I went to talk to, and I was like, well, do I just repaint the whole thing and create
I'm a really bad example of
well, no, but
like, I'll be the devil on your shoulder.
Because
that was painted, that was painted, that was painted.
And these are now your cars rather than, this is my all-time dream. And as I say, I didn't think I would get a launch spec Stradale. I don't really know why, but I just thought I would end up with something a bit more bespoke, a bit more me. But this is the car I've got, and I am enjoying it, but there's the possibility. But the question is, how much will I upset the Ferrari owners
a lot.
if I paint over the original factory painted stripe? We missed out carbon fibre, wing mirrors, and then really the big change comes on the inside. Forgive Twiggy's little bag. but completely different design of interior, totally stripped out. We've got these carbon fiber door cards here, different central tunnel, no carpet.
I was going to say, the floor looks very different.
Yeah, loads of carbon fiber in there as well. This did have the factory fitted radio or sound system, which was an option. So that just hangs down low. They sort of super.
Oh, so if you didn't opt it wouldn't have that.
It wouldn't have it at all, exactly. So you have
isn't it?
even clearer cut. And it is supposed to reflect or be similar to the challenge car. You know, this is Challenge Stradale, Challenge for the road. The interior is supposed to feel like a race car. So yeah, it's sorry if she's annoying you. She dislikes to explore. Great, perfect. She's quite easy to bond with. Not that, you know.
Very calm. Just
not that you're not a lovely person, but she's easy to win over.
Just exploring and having fun.
Exactly.
Martin's work.
Oh, perfect. Yeah. Okay, great. You can earn us some money. We can get another challenge for darling.
We've got a new plumber working here. Amazing. I actually recently was at a collection which had 2 of the Cornez edition cars.
Oh, okay, that's pretty wild. Which are often called the Schumacher editions.
Because of the signatures.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But that's, I mean, a white grille is quite great. What does it look like
punchy.
in person? I've never seen one in person.
I mean, I quite like it because I like
you?
different.
Okay.
I like the fact there's a story kind of behind it and what it celebrated in the Japan history and importer and so forth.
Absolutely.
I particularly like just opening the door and seeing the signatures on the door cuff.
Of course. As I say, as a Schumacher nerd, like the upsetting thing for me is that because Ferrari obviously all about their V12s, you know, those are always the halo cars. Schumacher wasn't really linked with this car. There's not much in terms of photography with him in and around it. There was no claims of him being involved with the development. There's a lot of F1 team links, so this is the same colour as his race cars were in period. So Rosso Scuderia came from the race team.
Yeah.
So you know the whole story about why Scuderia came about?
As in
the
Italian word for team?
No, so as F1 popularity grew in the sort of 90s with Senna and Prost and all things like that, if you look at the Mansell car, for example, they're very dark red.
Yeah.
And on TV, that was coming across as a bit dull and a bit brown.
Yeah.
And as the marketing aficionados realized, they were like, well, we need our cars to brighten up a bit. So they brought in this Rosso Scuderia, this lighter red, to make the cars really pop on TV. And this was the first time it was put onto a road car. So yes, Rosso Scuderia to tie to the name of the team, but the colour was to make it stand out on TV.
Well, there we go. It's just like McLaren's being the orange they are as well.
There you go.
I didn't realise that was why
popping.
Rosso Scuderia existed.
Exactly that. So
Learn something new every day.
There we go. I'm
like
here just to teach you, Tim. You know, I know you're new to this game. You don't know that much, so I'm here to pass on some information.
Well, I appreciate it. Prior to this point, I've never even been in a 360 Challenge Stradale.
It shocks me and it upsets me to the core, Tim.
But here we are.
You are about to find out what you've been missing. This may recalibrate your appreciation for Ferrari.
Yeah, I mean, I have a big appreciation for Ferrari at the moment. There's the feeling you have as soon as you're in the car. Harness is on, strapped down, everything's stripped out, like proper raw, extreme, because this was early days of making track-focused road cars.
This was the start, you know. I don't want to just keep, you know, tooting that horn or flying that flag, but prior to this, it wasn't a thing to release a car onto the road like this, at least in this sort of, you know, non-special homologation kind of cars, because this was not a homologation special.
Yeah.
This was Ferrari just believing that there was a desire for it. You've got to remember there was the 348 Competizione, but that wasn't a lightweight, stripped out sort of version. It was fettled with. They had the 355 Challenge, but never a road-going version. And then suddenly they delivered this car with no carpets, super extreme suspension setup, flappy paddle gearbox only, like, you know, all hardcore. And as far as I understand it, at the time, a lot of customers didn't actually like the idea of it.
No.
They're like, what is this all about? I can hear all the gravel, and it feels really intense, and it's super loud in the cabin. And
well, it's only really been the last 10 years that the lightweight focused cars have had the demand that we see now. Because even things like a GT3 RS 4 litre wasn't sold out at the time. They were losing money, so you could just buy one.
For sure.
And I wonder back at the time, like how in demand these were.
Supposedly not, and there are plenty of people that I meet who sold them at a great loss. You know, they were like 120 odd grand new, and they were being traded for 80 odd a few years later. So, you know, here am I then, just thinking, oh, if I could have bought them for 80. But yeah, I mean, the biggest thing that people knock this car for is the F1 gearbox, which was still early tech for, you know, flappy paddles. It's a semi-automated system. system, but I'm hoping you're finding, and you will do when you get behind the wheel, I really think it gets a bad name. Like, for me, it is not bad at all. You've got to appreciate the system for what it is and drive around it. But I find it engaging, a bit like a Lamborghini E-Gear or an Aventador. You know, it's part of the character and the personality. I'm just going to dip a window ever so slightly because it is
about the noise.
Yeah.
Oh yes. Why did it take this long to get that?
Yeah. Well, I was just trying to build you up to it. You know, you didn't want to welcome you with that. You've got to build up to it. And this is what I think is so rewarding about a CS, is that you're always chasing that soundtrack, and the original map. It's all to do with multiple things. It's not just where you are in the rev range, but it's to do with throttle pressure. So sometimes you want the valves to open and they don't quite, and you're like, oh no, damn it, you got to drop back and push harder.
Yeah.
So you're constantly chasing that insane soundtrack.
And now we're on the right roads for it.
Yeah, it's starting to open.
Countryside lanes.
But you can feel that firmness straight away, right? Yeah,
as soon as we were accelerating the first time, very conscious of the let's say roughness, but that's also the rawness. That's the excitement. That's the challenge part.
That's exactly it. And I think that's what people get so excited about with this car now is the raw feeling. These days, cars get better and better. Ferraris get better and better, but they're also more comfortable, more accessible, easy to use on a daily basis, like you've proved.
Yeah.
Where this is semi-analog, it screams emotion, you get so much feel, and it's kind of brutal. Like it does feel like we're in a race car for the road.
We have had a swap around, and here we are.
My first time in the passenger seat of my car, But is that not fairly common? Like, how many times have you been in the passenger seat of your car?
Actually, quite a lot.
Oh, really?
Because we do so many tours, and my girlfriend obviously drives as well. And how do you move the seat forwards in here?
There's a little bar down below. There you go. I'm actually going to move the microphone as well down there, like that. Okay.
So.
Wow. There's no steering wheel.
So.
And as you were saying earlier, maybe off camera, it's all the carbon fibre that you're surrounded by as well.
It's just cool. I think the more time that goes by, and certainly with more electrification and everything else that's happening now, it gives even more appeal to the slightly older cars.
That's exactly it. You feel more involved in the process. It's not saying that new cars don't have their place and are fantastic in their own way, but I like that feeling of a bit more connection. And that's what this car definitely gives you. I wouldn't say there are any particular tips and tricks to the gearbox, but some people say lift off the throttle a tiny bit. Not enough throttle tip. There you go.
It's linked very much to the throttle pedal press.
Yeah.
I thought it might be RPM, but it's not.
It's not. It's throttle pressure.
Sorry, I'm straight in.
No, that's what I want you to do. That's what I was saying. Really, this car is enjoyed best singing. I love that you can do the calm stuff because I use the car a lot. I plan to use the car a lot. But this is what Stradale is all about.
Wow.
20 years old, Tim. 20 years old.
This is cool. This is really cool. I like the steering feel. It's very light.
Very light.
It's very pointy.
And a bit more basic. It's still got that classic Ferrari front end, I think, despite the age. It's the emotion, it's the soul. That's for me is part of it. Is that, yes, the speed comes and things, but...
Sorry to the cyclist, I'm just deafened as we've gone past. God, that's good, isn't it? What an engine to have. The 360 has always had this incredibly raspy V8.
Yeah.
Like each era, each engine that Ferrari have quite distinct tones. You know, the 430s and the Scuderias, when they're at the top of the rev range. I'm going to slow it down as
an aggressive street sweeper.
The 430s have that real shriek when the valves open.
Yes.
And then the 458s again have their own tone. And then the 488 and F8 obviously basically the same with the same engine. Each of these cars generate their own kind of feel, their own kind of sound that you get used to, and the 360s and the 355s kind of before that are just absolutely wild.
They're so symphonic, they have a long lineage, this engine, you can trace it very far back, but when you just really get into it.
Yeah, it's a little bit more than that.
I need you to properly bury it. All the way out. You know when you're doing well, when the exhaust starts to crackle a little bit, it starts like there's a bit of fuel powering through, that's when you're starting to get things right. Is it what you expected so far? I mean,
Yes, it is what I expected. It's probably slightly more raw than I expected.
Okay.
Because 16M Scuderia and the Speciale are similar philosophy, but not quite as raw as this. Goodness gracious me. I was worried about your carbon mirror right then.
Yeah, because they're really expensive to replace.
Yeah, we don't want to hit one of those. No, so it's probably even more challenge-esque than I thought it was going to be, in obviously a very good way. I think it's firmer than I probably expected. I'm so used to driving the modern Ferraris, which are very soft and built as road cars. Ferrari, in the same way they pioneered this, bringing the track-focused ideology to a road car, they're now pioneering the fact that they have this lineup of amazing race cars you can buy. So even the more extreme focused road cars, like the Competizione and the XX Stradale and Spider, are actually still road cars, and they're still softer. And I find that quite interesting because it is something that often puts you off using a car in many ways because it just becomes too aggressive on the road. Like, it was a problem I had with my Huracan STO, that the engine is amazing, the looks are just wild, but ultimately as a road car, here, on these kind of roads, it was too firm.
Too much.
And like too extreme. And this is actually quite extreme.
It's
I'm not
super
gonna lie.
extreme.
This is so good. Wow.
That's what it's all about. That is what it's all about.
But the crazy thing is, that's all in the speed limit.
Yeah, that's what I love. So I do a podcast, you've been on it, and my co-host Tony, who hates all cars, says often, your car sounds amazing, it goes nowhere.
I mean, I'm going the same speed as a Focus Saloon.
The truck in front of us. But I don't care, because you did it with a huge smile on your face.
That is amazing. That is absolutely amazing. Get ready for some fun. A lot of V8 fun.
I was born with it, that's why I bought this car. So good. This, I mean, it came out of the factory like this.
Yeah, so this is stock.
This is stock. You can go crazy.
Amazing. They don't do them like this anymore.
Nope. Literally not allowed to.
No. Sadly. Anyway, we are about to enter the tunnel.
Yeah.
Does that mean you are on window duty?
I'm on window duty. I'm not going to go the whole way because we'll lose our hearing.
Too much wind noise. So we're going to prolong it a touch. Wait for it. Keep waiting for it.
I'm gonna have to film it. I'm gonna have to film it.
Oh my days! Sam, this is insane.
You understand now. Now you understand.
Wow. Oh my goodness! I would have loved to have just been a random car in that tunnel and someone's doing that in a 360 CS. How is that how it left the factory?
Outrageous, right?
Outrageous. Absolutely.
Yeah. You're gonna buy one of these cars now.
That was absolutely phenomenal. I'm glad I brought us on that route.
Yes.
I'm so glad.
Way to come.
Oh my goodness.
It's just, and that's the thing, sometimes when you're driving with the windows up, you forget that that's going on behind you. And then, so I've done so many drives, because obviously I had the same exhaust fitted to my Modena. Yeah. And that car was fed up with the tune. So many drives where I'd be flat out, and I'd put the windows down and be like, oh my God. Yeah. Why have I not been driving on this the whole time?
It's interesting how much difference it makes, because in some cars, like in my GT8, windows up or down, it makes no difference. It sounds the same. This is loud, very loud. But in this, you get so much more of that higher end of the tone.
For sure.
It's such a different. The Aston and Ferrari engines have always been so different. The Ferraris just scream when you come.
It's that engine noise and exhaust noise, which actually are different in this car. Sometimes they're really very similar, or you're getting one or the other. But in this car, the internal engine noise is symphonic, and then the noise out the back is just AC/DC hell. I mean, it's unbelievable.
That was, yeah.
And then do you know what I mean by those gear shifts? When you're getting into it like that, it's rewarding. It's not like, oh, come on. It's like, yes!
What a car!
Yeah, thank you.
Well, thank you for letting me drive it.
No, of course. I'm here to increase the value. No, I'm joking.
Go buy 360 Challenge Stradales.
I'm here to make people realise just how special these things are. I've been on a crusade for 10 years.
Yeah.
And I'm now here with my own car to keep flying the flag and making people realise.
This is awesome. Really awesome. What a thing.
So. I'm glad you think so.
We're back.
I think Twiggy's upset she didn't come with us.
Yeah. And
Aren't you?
managed to brave the loud noises.
Well, she's actually pretty good. She quite likes them. I think especially the Challenge Stradale.
Yeah.
She's a fan. By the way, this car is so loud, I've lost my voice whilst filming.
I was just going to say.
As we were filming, slowly.
It's getting worse. It's going.
It's getting worse, but yeah.
So are you happy?
I'm ecstatic.
Yeah.
I'm a little bit more ecstatic that I feel like you were ecstatic during that experience.
Hell yeah.
Because I think you understand, I've been boring you. How many times, how many road trips, how many moments have I gone, Tim, it's the Challenge Stradale, like forget everything else.
I think even back when we did the first proper road trip all together, 2015-ish, taking all the cars down to the south of France, you were already being like, one day it's going to be one of these.
Yes, literally that. And so that's why it feels a bit silly. And it was almost more enjoyable from the passenger seat then, because I just get to live, and I haven't got that understanding yet that, no, this is mine. And I can drive it, and I can make those noises, I can do all of that. So plenty of time. I've got a lot of work to do because the car, prior to my ownership, basically sat still in a collection for 10 years. So I just, need to keep fettling it, keep improving it, and then just do a ton of miles and keep getting used to it, really.
So you got the difficult decision of whether it's like a complete restore it, make it perfect, paintwork, overhaul.
It will be that. It will be a nut and bolt, but just maybe not all at once. Because I always want to be able to use the car. I don't want to lose the car for 2 years when it gets... So I always want to have the car available to me. But there's always an ongoing list because I know what they can be. I know how to make them perfect, I think. And so just over time, for example, this isn't the real Challenge Stradale windscreen. It's going to be replaced anyway because it's got a chip. It's usually a lighter glass. It has a bit of sun shading here.
So is this a regular 360?
I guess at some point somebody's replaced it. They called up their insurer. They've just slotted in the old glass, but it's not fitted that well. So just little things like that, which don't really matter.
I'm generally not against that, by the way. Little secret that people don't really know. The Black Series is running a regular AMG GTR windscreen.
Interesting, because what should it be? Is it thinner glass again?
Because it's ever so slightly heavier. I think it's less than a kilo difference. It's like 500 grams or something difference, which is nothing. It's like 2 or 3 mobile phones. But it's many thousands cheaper. So if you're going to regularly break them, because it's quite vertical. So that's the same kind of thing, right? They're taking a regular car windscreen, not the...
Also, because of Ferrari, if you do crack a Challenge Stradale windscreen, it's hit and miss whether they have a replacement at the factory.
Yeah, true.
So, I get why this has been done, but these are the things that over time, I'll just correct. The best part is fundamentally the car at its core is a Stradale, and it's fantastic, and it's usable, and it's ready to go. Everything else is just me.
How many of them are out there?
Well, it was not numbered. It's reckoned around 1250, something like that, 1,250 units. That's disputed a bit, but it wasn't a numbered run. Ferrari will never tell you. But this is the launch specification with the stripe, the Scuderia, the interior, plenty of other interesting specs out there.
I should probably let you save your voice. It's very cool.
Happened, but
it's very cool to see this plate on the dream car.
Thank you.
It's very cool.
Cool for me too.
Thank you for bringing Twiggy.
Yeah, Twiggy was walking straight into shot. You want to be a star, Twiggy. You want to be a star.
So what's going on? Congrats
awesome
again.
To see you. Thank you so much.
Likewise.
Catch up soon somewhere where I'll be making a lot of noise. You can come find me.
Sounds like a plan. So good.
Always a pleasure.
See you later. Enjoy the road. How cool was that? Great to see Sam. Great to drive a Challenge Stradale as well for the first time. And I got to say, Twiggy has been remarkably chilled, just kind of walking around amongst the cars. which was really fun. Maybe we need to get a barn dog or cat or something that's safe here at the Shmuseum. Anyway, in the absence of the SF90, we've had the Challenge Stradale to come and visit. And I think that era of cars from 20 or so years ago, and the Clio V6 obviously is one of those, the 1M not quite so old, the Vantage Roadster actually getting onto that kind of thing. And there are a few things on my radar from that period. Was really like one of the prime eras of motoring. The rules were nothing like as restrictive as they've become over the last 10 or 20 years. Yet performance was in a really nice envelope where on a country lane like we've just been doing, you can enjoy the power, you can get to the red line, you can have some fun. And then if you go to a tunnel, all hell breaks loose just from the sound that the thing makes. The most unbelievable exhaust note with a factory stock exhaust system on his car. Some work to do to make it perfect, but that's part of the journey. And of course, that's all over on Seen Through Glass. So make sure you are subscribed to Sam if you are not already. I know the OGs will absolutely be on the channel. Some amazing videos every week. That's it for now, though. Thank you very much for watching as always, guys, and I'll see you again very soon. Cheers.